Hi, I decided to make this video promptly because I was really annoyed by the recent news. I'm talking about the departure of Josh Freese from the band Foo Fighters. And departure probably is not the right word to describe it. He was fired. And unfortunately, this thing is not very rare nowadays, and I see a lot of news and a lot of cases when pro drummers, were fired from the bands, and the circumstances are very unclear usually, and the way how they had been fired is, like, in my opinion, it's very unfair. Talking about Josh Freese, probably you've heard the news. He was fired in May, and as he stated in his social media, he doesn't know a particular reason why he was fired. Actually, he made a funny post where he's trying to discover the reason why he was fired. And I think that he deserves to speak out because, like, dude has a name and he deserves the right to know the truth why he's been fired. Why this piece of news was so annoying for me is probably because first of all, Dave Grohl, it's not the first time when he does something like that. If you watched the documentary about Foo Fighters, you probably know the story where Dave says how he re-recorded drum parts for the album and didn't say that to the current drummer. The most shocking thing is how can Dave Grohl, being one of the greatest drummers of all time, be so unfair to other fellow drummers? And actually, Foo Fighters is just one of the examples of this situation. Another example is Slipknot, a huge band which also had two similar stories with their drummers. First of all, of course, it was Joey, who was fired from the band in 2013, and at that moment the band didn't reveal the reason why they did that. A year later, probably in an interview, they mentioned that they hinted that Joey was apparently a drug addict, but later Joey revealed, when he was accepting an award, in his passionate speech, that he actually had a disease, quite a severe disease, which is called transverse myelitis. And the fact that the band didn't even notice him in person. He got an email that he was fired. And if you think that it's a rare case to be fired by an email from a band, then you're wrong, because it's not an exceptional case. Then another drummer, Jay Weinberg, was fired from the band by a phone call. Yeah, like, we can see some development, but still it was a phone call. And in my opinion, when something like that happens, people should talk to each other. They should know the reasons. They should understand why it's happening, especially when we're talking about the members of the band who created this band. In case of Joey, or let's take Chris Adler from Lamb of God. He also revealed that he was fired from Lamb of God by email, and he hadn't had a chance to talk to them, and actually they have never spoken since that. So in my opinion, this situation, when you've been through, like, some shit with guys, it's so unfair to do that by email, not personally. It looks like they treat drummers like some disposable material. Okay, we can look at it as from the business point of view, right? Like, because we understand that obviously when you have such a famous band, it's not just about friendship and making music, it's a business, right? But anyway, like, remember the film Up in the Air. Companies really hire a special person to fire other people, to make it less painful for them. And in this situation, we see, like, people who used to be friends, like, get just an email. And I think that this situation it's quite worrying, because it seems that the rights of the drummers, musicians, they don't mean anything for other members of the band. And personally, I think that it's time to create something like a union which is going to protect the rights of drummers. I don't know. And to be honest, I see a lot of situations like that when drummers are treated unfairly. They don't get a chance to write the drum parts by themselves. They don't have a possibility to creatively contribute to the music. So I think this situation is very worrying for me as a drummer myself, and I just couldn't stay aside from that. However, I think that in this situation, not only drummers suffer, but the fans too, because obviously they don't get a chance to say goodbye to their favorite musicians. This news comes so sudden without any warning. They don't have an opportunity to come to the last concert or something like that. Yeah, so show some respect to the band member who used to be your friend and teammate and so on. And fans deserve that too, because for them it's a part of their world. They may not necessarily know the reason why the drummer was fired, because okay, I understand, like, this is life, everything can change, you can meet the expectations, don't meet, you think that somebody fits in, doesn't fit in, but I think anyway it shouldn't be done this way.